Ladies and gentlemen, he's the samurai of student ministry, the networking ninja, a Jedi master of church budgets, the beast from the southeast, the next-gen nerd himself, CJ!
What's up, my nerds? Welcome to the Next Gen Nerd Podcast, the show where 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Glad to have you guys join us as we talk about one of my favorite book series, Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. You may have seen the Disney movie John Carter of Mars. We're going to talk about it with two of my friends. Stephen Ridley's first time on the show. He's from the MoViGa podcast, MoViGa, M-O-V-I-G-A. You'll enjoy hearing from him. And, of course, our friend of the show, Todd Turner, the creator and founder of Mosaic Fanart, one of the co-hosts of Sis and Big Pop's Culture. Glad to have him on as well, and you'll enjoy this discussion as we talk about what we loved about the show, what we didn't like, which was very little because all three of us really enjoyed the movie, we really enjoyed the book series, and so it's a great conversation for us to have about that. If you haven't seen the book, or excuse me, if you haven't seen the movie or read the books, that's okay. Still enjoy us talking about a book where a Civil War, a Confederate soldier has to reunite or bring together a diverse peoples of Mars, and so you'll enjoy that conversation in a little bit. Before we get there, though, just a quick recommendation that ties into what we're talking about this episode. If you are a fan of this, if you're a fan of comics, I encourage you to check out Strange Adventures by Tom King. It follows a hero that is in a very similar situation here, and actually this comic one-off series was inspired by John Carter of Mars, so I encourage you to check that out. That's Strange Adventures by Tom King. What would you recommend for me to read? Shoot me recommendations to nextgennerdpodcast@gmail.com. You can send me a recommendation for a book, a movie, TV series, whatever. Would love to hear what you're enjoying and enjoy it with you. We have been doing a drive for reviews, and our winner for the giveaway for those reviews is my buddy Cole Johnson. So I'll be sending him a Nerd Culture Starter Pack, a bunch of little nerdy goodies. We'll be heading your way soon, bud. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll do another giveaway soon. I think that's everything for right now, so it's time to start the interview. Let's get nerdy. Well, guys, like I mentioned, I am excited to be here with my friend Todd Turner and my friend Stephen Ridley, and we're going to be talking about John Carter of Mars in a little bit, the Princess of Mars, Thuvia of Mars series a little bit here, but I'm really glad to see these guys. How are y'all doing today?
Great.
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. My voice is a little bit, where it is. We've had testing at the middle school, and so it takes a little more vocal energy to get them to calm down. So I am glad tomorrow's Friday.
I bet. I can't imagine. Oh, my gosh.
But good. Glad to be here. Glad to do this. What we're going to be talking about for the show, I love this series. I mean, I didn't even know the series existed before the movie came out, and then dove into the series and really enjoyed it. And I'm really ashamed because it's written by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I'm CJ Burroughs, and I've been told that I'm related to him since I've been old enough to know what related to means. So excited to talk about it. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys, what other nerdy things are you into right now? So, Stephen, I'm going to start with you. What are some nerdy things that you're into in general, and maybe what's something that's really going on right now that you're I'm really enjoying this?
My Star Wars is my thing. And since a kid, it's we got a love-hate relationship with it. It's got some lately. It's been a little stinky with some of the shows. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character in Star Wars, and I was so stoked for that show, and I just was not a fan of the show. I don't know what you guys thought about it, but the budget was smaller than shows like Andor, which was great. And just some of the recent Disney Plus stuff, I've been but it's like family, you still love it. Yeah. Ahsoka has been great so far. But yeah, Star Wars is my thing. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings. Huge Lord of the Rings fan. Lately, I've been playing some Starfield.
Okay.
Enjoying that. We actually just recently finished Game of Thrones for the first time. and I put it off for so long. It's got some mature content for sure, which
That
is
it
why
does.
I put it off for so long. So there was, you kept your finger on the fast forward button, but it was very good, and it's sad to me that it is mature because I just want to be like, everyone watch it, but I'm
Right.
also like,
Yeah.
probably don't watch it, but
I got you.
if you happen to, we could talk about it.
No, sounds good. So, Star Wars, I'm right there with you. I have a very high pain tolerance when it comes to Star Wars, so like I can enjoy it. There's a handful of things that I have been able to like. The Clone Wars cartoon is one of them. Like, I'm told that I'm not a real Star Wars fan. I can't do it. I can't. I've tried.
Oh, dude,
but any
I
show,
know.
I could
but
get through the first season.
listen, but if any show you tell me you've got to get through the first 4 seasons before it gets good, like that's not a good show. Like that's not a good show.
Yep.
I'm just saying that, and I was very disappointed with Book of Boba Fett. That was another one that I was very
Oh, yeah,
disappointed
dude.
with. The Power Rangers moped race scene, the slowest race
Oh,
scene,
my
the
God.
slowest chase scene that's ever existed in anything.
Don't get me started.
So those were difficult. But really, for the most part, I'm good for whatever. I enjoyed Obi-Wan. I do have to laugh, though. Like, let's be honest. Like, of the characters, we picked the one that looks most like us. I mean, come on. We're 3 bearded white men here on this podcast, and we didn't pick the robot. We didn't pick we picked the guy that looks kind of like us. Like, yep, that's my guy, not the alien. Yeah. But that's just
I've
kind of
seen
funny.
every Star Wars movie in the theater.
That's impressive,
That's how old I
man.
am.
That's,
Wow.
I had to wait 3 years for each one of them to come out.
well, I did see I saw several in theaters, but I remember the last one I went and sat in a theater by myself. There was no one else there. It was like an 11:30 showing at the little town I lived nearby, and it wasn't the night of. It was like a week later, but like I was literally the only one in the theater. It was kind of scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, man.
So you mentioned that, and you mentioned Game of Thrones. I watched part of the first season and partially the adult content. It didn't grab me as much, and now it's kind of like a badge of honor. Like, nope, haven't watched it.
I know.
Haven't watched
that was
it.
me for so long. I was like, I don't, because it's 8 seasons. It's a lot. There's so many shows where people are like, you got to watch it, and I'm like, that's going to take half my life to watch all that. But it gets so good, and for a show to go for 8 seasons and still like have me sweating like every episode, I was. People hyped it up for so long, and I was afraid that there would be too much hype, but it was great. Even the last season, everybody hated on the last season, and I think maybe that like anti-hype helped my expectations a little bit because I was like, it wasn't bad. I didn't hate it,
Okay,
So
very nice, very
yeah.
nice.
But I feel you on the Clone War stuff because that is one where everybody's like, you gotta watch all of Clone Wars and all of Rebels and all of Bad Batch, and I'm like, just because I don't know. To me, like, it's so I'm
an
scared.
investment
Like,
for
who's
sure.
going to attack me right now? But like, it's very childish. The first few seasons of Clone Wars, and I hear it gets good, but I just it's hard to push through it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Yes, but there's still a lot of other good animated Star Wars that I'm watching now. Like I enjoy Rebels. Like I can watch that. That's good. And there's still, I haven't even finished several of the shows just because like I have to sit and it can't be in the background. Like I have to be dedicated watching it. So I've got plenty to watch.
Yes, thank you. Everyone's like, "What's taking you so long?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna put it on while I'm at work. Like it's gotta be nighttime, no bathroom breaks. Everybody be quiet. Silence your phones. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me."
So yeah, very nice, very nice. And so Steven, tell us a little about what you do, who you are, all those good things.
Yeah, so I'm part of the MoViGa podcast. We've been around for like 5 years, I think. We started on YouTube, and then we went to audio only. But at this point, we talk about movies and video games, comic books, TV shows, stuff like that. And we stream on Twitch. We got a Discord. We do our weekly podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. and then streaming multiple things throughout the week. So we're working on a website. We're not there yet, but if you find us on social media at MoViGa Podcast, MoViGa Podcast, You can check the link in our bio to find us everywhere we are. MoViGa is like movie video game. That was the idea.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I got it, man. I got it.
Now when I say it, I
Makes
feel
sense.
like it's lame, but
I got it.
No. At no point have I wondered what is this about. Like MoViGa makes
Okay,
sense.
good to hear.
So that you're good. It works. It's sticky. It works. It works.
I'll take it. I appreciate it.
Very cool. Very cool. Todd, what are you into now, man? Like what's something exciting that's maybe not new, but maybe new to us?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm all into comics, and I have like a problem sometimes. I think some people would say the amount of comics that I read. So I honestly, as far as new things, I have really enjoyed the Invasion show on Apple Plus.
Okay.
So a lot of times I will start a show and then I will be like, oh, I can't, and I'll stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll go back to it, and then But this one, over vacation, I'll watch the entire first series, and it is actually a lot of times I'll watch a show, and then if episodes aren't, they drop weekly or whatever, I just say forget that. I'm not just going to mess with it. But this is one where I'm like, today's the episode comes out. I've got to watch it. So that's been really good. I've really been impressed with it. It's been well done. It does have some mature themes in it, not as bad as some, but a lot of cussing, which But and I just finished Last of Us. I couldn't believe I watched it, but I did.
Okay.
I've never played the video game, but
Same.
I watched the show. Well done.
Yeah. No. We've got an episode of that coming out soon too. My brother-in-law, he let me bogart his HBO Max so I could watch it. So I said, I'll have you on for the show to talk about it. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. And I can see why. So Todd, you and I have talked about this before, where when they jank with family, when they mess with family, it really goes ahead and pulls you out quick. So
me too. Yeah, exactly.
So without, spoilers. This thing came out a while ago. That last couple scenes, man, of that season. Like, where were you at on that?
Well, honestly, CJ, I started watching it and then immediately stopped it, and I went and looked to see
What happened? Yeah.
Because if something negative would have going to happen in that, to where I would thought, that someone was going to be the end of that, I was like, I was done. I wasn't going to watch it anymore. It's completely. But when I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
I can, Pedro Pascal's character completely, I expected him to do exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember talking to my daughter after that, and just go like she didn't watch it with me. She's 12 years old. Like, she's not going to watch that with me. But I remember watching that, and she could tell that something was off, something was different with Dad. And so I just kind of briefly described some of the things, and she's like, that's crazy. And I go, and that's exactly what I would do if somebody had their hands on you. Exactly what I would do. Like, I know I love Jesus. I know I love Jesus. And he will go ahead and deal with me at the end. But I am coming for you. I'm going to get you, and we are getting out of there. Like, the world can do what it wants to do, but my baby, no siree, I'm coming to get you.
Yeah, that was a struggle. Honestly, that was hilarious, CJ. I didn't even think about when we had talked about that, but I was like, oh, I can't watch this.
That's okay. Listen, I get it. I get it. That's good. We all have our things that we just go, nope, I'm done. For me, it's when a good friendship could be a good friendship, but we decide to make it a gay relationship. The most blatant example of that is Our Flag Means Death. I love the show. It's not the clean show, but I'm watching the show going, these are two really good friends. These are two men who care about each other, who want the best for each other, and in the last 15 minutes of the last episode of the season, now they're in a relationship. And I went, that makes me angry. Why can't they just be friends?
I've heard of that show, and I've been interested. But that's
right?
Yeah, and what's his name? I can't remember his name, but
Waititi and
that's
I can't remember his name either. The other guy,
the guy from Flight of the Conchords. He was in Flight of the Conchords, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, Jermaine Clement.
No, the other one.
The
other one.
It's their like manager or something. I can't remember his name. Shoot. But that seems to be like how things go. Anytime there's like a friendship or something, the whole like all the audiences are just like they should be romantic, and the studios are just like that's what everybody wants, so they just do it. And it's like, oh,
yeah, I remember the rumblings. I remember the rumblings with Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they're like, yeah, we're gonna, and I'm going, just let it be, like, because let's be honest,
Finn and Poe. Everybody wanted Finn and Poe to be in a relationship.
I mean, I have
Totally
several.
oblivious.
I have several guy friends that I have cried with, that I've told that I love them, you know, that we have gone through difficult things, and it's not romantic. It is intimate. Like, I'm okay with an intimate relationship that doesn't have to be romantic. Like, let's just show what true, great, self-sacrificing friendship looks like. I think it's a compelling story. We don't have to, and I use the same-sex example. I'm fine with the opposite sex example as well. I mean, there's plenty of stories that's like they don't have to get together in the end. Like, they don't have to.
Right.
It can just be two people who care about each other that want the best for each other. Why do?
Yeah, and nowadays it's a twist when they don't.
Yes.
They don't end up in a relationship. Like, really? I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I remember I watched something and I thought, oh, they're going to end up together, and then they didn't. And I was like, oh, well.
Oh, interesting.
La di da.
So you said Invasion. I haven't heard that. I need to check that out on the Apple TV
Yeah, it
Plus.
is Apple Plus. It is an alien invasion. They follow like a group of regular people all around the world, like different people, and you can tell that they all intertwine. But it's not like your regular alien invasion. I mean, it's like it's been really well done. And there's like a young boy in it who has seizures, and but he's basically, when he does that, he is like almost into what the communication with the aliens, how they communicate back and forth. So like he has written all these things in this book that he like sees because he can draw and everything, and it's like this kid is going to be, you know, it is going to be an integral part of it. And so there's like there's a place that takes place in like Korea, in England, in you know, New York, and out west, and it's interesting. It's been really good. So
Yeah, I need to check it out. I'll tell you what, Apple Plus has got some good stuff on there. I've wanted to watch Foundations. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'll tell you what.
So
Oh yeah, you go first. Tell me.
I watched the first season of Foundation. It is nothing like the books.
That's
So
what I've heard.
It is a good science fiction. The first season, it's good. I mean, it's partially about the books, but second season, after the second episode, lost me, and I just quit it.
Oh man.
I know, but the first season, really good.
Okay.
I would
to know.
recommend the first season for sure.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you haven't watched Severance,
Oh,
that is the show, man. Oh my gosh.
That
Have
was
you
hard for
seen
me
it?
to watch. I watched
Oh,
the first maybe 6 episodes, and then I was like, I can't do this. Oh my gosh, these poor people.
Oh, it's so stressful.
I know, that's the deal.
The season finale. I've never like paced the floor watching the show before, and I absolutely did. It was so stressful. But oh my gosh, what a great show. So good.
It's good, but I can't watch it.
There's been
I feel you.
There's been a few shows where I've gotten vocal at the TV. I'm trying to remember the last one. There was one that I can't remember what it was, and I was just, I remember what it was. It was Waco. It was Waco, which is the fictionalized or the dramatized version of what happened there. And I know how it ends. And I'm watching the show and I'm screaming at it. It's like, lie to me. Just tell me they all make it out. Like, change history. Like, I know what happens.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, my wife's like coming, like checking me, like, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. Look at this. So, yeah, that was, yeah. I mean, I don't enjoy how I feel in the moment, but they're obviously visceral shows that are good shows if they can elicit that kind of emotion while you're doing that.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's change gears. Let's take a look at what we're talking about today. We're talking about John Carter. We're talking about the movie. We're going to talk a little bit about the books. I don't know if I'm the only one that read the books, but we're going to talk about the books. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of John Carter, what did you love about John Carter? Both of you said, I want to talk about it. I want to be on it. So obviously you've enjoyed some aspect of this universe. So I'm going to start with Stephen. What did you enjoy about John Carter? Like, why do you go, man, I really like this. I want to talk about it.
Part of it is probably because I'm so defensive because everybody like hated on the movie so much. I'm like, guys, calm down. So I have not read the books, but I saw the movie and just like from the moment it started, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's Andrew Stanton directed it from Pixar, and I remember Steven Spielberg one time saying like he felt like it was beneficial to like start with animated stuff and then move to live action because you had to know exactly what you wanted for every shot in animated. So and I was like, this is great. Andrew Stanton's from Pixar. He's made, I think he did like Finding Nemo and like all this great stuff. And Wall-E, yeah, oh my gosh, so good. So I was totally on board, and it just blew me away. I mean, the direction, the fact that it was shot on real film, it just looked so good. The characters, the music, Michael Giacchino, who in my opinion is like the next John Williams. I mean, I feel like, you know, there's Hans Zimmer. Everybody loves Hans Zimmer and stuff like that, but I feel like people sleep on Michael Giacchino. I mean, he's done a good bit, but his score for John Carter is like one of my favorites of all time. It's so good, and it works so well with the emotions of some of the scenes and the comedic parts, like at the very beginning when John Carter keeps trying to arrest him, and he keeps like jumping out the window, and it's like bum 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 bum. Like it's great. So anytime music is great on its own and can work really well with the scene, I just love it. So I mean, yeah, pretty much everything about it. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say it's a perfect movie, but it just completely blew me away, and I loved it so much. I'm a sucker for like adventure, Indiana Jones, Star Wars type movies. So, yeah, I remember leaving the theater so excited to see John Carter 2, and then I, you know, start reading articles, and I'm like, oh, everybody hates it, and you know, all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for adventure movies, so this like checked all the boxes for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's funny you mentioned the score. Just a little plug here. We did a series a while back. A buddy of mine was big into those, and we did a whole series on sci-fi composers. So go back and check those episodes out. That was what he wanted to do. He was going to do a whole series on music and movies. So check those out. But no, it's I also laugh at you saying, you know, I think I like it because no one else did. Like, there are several movies that I can pinpoint and go, yep, I'm one of 7 people that like that movie. Unbreakable, that's one. I love Unbreakable, and like no one else did. No one else did, but I really enjoyed it. M. Night Shyamalan, the only movie he did that was good. That's not true.
And
That's
the
not
art
true.
in that was all done by Alex Ross.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's just funny you mentioned that, because I am also kind of, let's go against the grain. You don't like it? Well, I think I might like it. I think I might. And let's just be honest. It's just because it's an intellectual movie, and they just wanted candy. They just wanted candy,
Exactly.
and this was...
They're not smart enough. It was just over their heads.
Yeah. This was
They had to
broccoli.
be smarter.
It may have been a little hard to get through, but it's good for you. So...
Oh, dude, I remember, like, after seeing it, arguing with so many people. They're like, it was so lame. He's like, he can jump high. And I'm like... Are you kidding me? It was incredible. And I was
It's
like,
because the gravity is decreased on the planet. And not only can he jump high, but he's stronger. Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. Todd, what about you, man?
This was one of the first movies that my whole family could watch because it was PG-13, and my son had just turned 13. So this was a all-family outing.
Okay.
And it's a popcorn film. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. Entertainment. It was fun. I mean, anybody who can watch this and not say that it is fun, I don't know. I mean, they've got a space dog. I mean,
How can you hate Woola, the space dog?
That's right. That's
how
right.
Can you not? And you know, I've read the comics, which you can't really read. Kids can't read them, bless their hearts, because in the book, nobody has clothes on basically in the book, and they try to keep as close to that as possible in the comics. But read the books, and I was really, you know, interested in how they were going to do it, and I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, they melded stuff together, changed a few things, but I love the movie, and same reason with Steve. I mean, people were like, I've never heard of this movie, or what the heck, who's John Carter? And I'm like, and they're like, oh, that movie was terrible. I'm like, no, it's not. This is a really fun film. Sit down and turn your brain off. Enjoy. I mean, the cast is great.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Green Goblin as Tars Tarkus. I mean,
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
and, I mean, anything with what's his name? Strong, is that his
Oh, Mark Strong, yeah.
Mark Strong in? You gotta love. So, yeah, I mean, that was the main reason. We just love the movie. Hannah and I love it. That's my daughter, and we've talked about it on our podcast. And films that we actually did, films that other people try to convince other people to watch these films that they don't want to watch.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. Because I think it's just a lot of fun.
I think
I'm
I need
all about
yeah.
having fun at the movies.
Yeah, I think I need to add that in for me to watch with Zeke, my son. He's 9, and he's starting to get to the point where he actually will sit down and watch a movie with me. Like Charlie and my daughter, like it doesn't matter if it's on, and she'll come and sit and watch it, and she'll enjoy it. So that's what I need to add. Funny enough, my first interaction with this movie was the teaser trailer, where all they did was show the Princess of Mars logo. And people are like losing it in the theaters. I'm going, what is this? Like, I've never even heard of this before. And then looked it up, and I was like, okay. I would say probably one of the reasons that I love it is because it is this beautiful, brilliant, giant space epic. It's a barren landscape, and yet everything is beautiful and it looks good. And so, and it is fun. It's fun. I would love to be able to jump super high and be super strong. I would love that. That's fantastic. But no, I really enjoy this movie. My wife does not. I've tried, and she goes, I'm not even trying that movie again. I'm not even trying it. Nope, pick a different one. So I've tried, but yeah, I've also read the books. I was talking to Steven earlier. Usually what happens is we'll have some movie or some season, it'll be fantastic, and then they'll be like, hey, we're done. And I'm like, no, there's more. There's more, right? There's more. And then I find the book, or I find the comics, or I find whatever, the source material, and go, I really want to dig into this to see what happens. And we'll get into that in a little bit, Steven, but I would say there's a definite tonal shift between the first book and the rest of the series, like a huge tonal shift.
Completely different.
So we'll get into that. Funny you mentioned the comics. I saw the comic and I was like, ooh, and then I got to the cover and I was like, ooh, nope, never mind. Okay, Even if I was like, man, I'm just going to read it for the story. My wife was with me in the comic book store, and that was not getting passed across the counter. Like, it was not going to make it. So,
okay, listen, CJ, if you get a chance, read John Carter, Mars Attacks.
John Carter,
Mars Attacks. It's a crossover with the Mars Attacks.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Movie and with John Carter.
You know,
hilarious.
Mars Attacks is one. I was a kid. Like, my whole family was asleep, and I was flipping through the channels, and the guy said it was Superman 4. And I was like, Superman, all right. And it was Mars Attacks. Like, I don't know. It just got it wrong. Scared the heck out of me. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Those little Martian dudes. Oh my, and I just kept waiting for Superman to show up. I was like, hey, no, I'm scared. So, like, that's a movie from my childhood that I'm still like,
nice.
Ooh, I can't watch that.
That reminds me of the bit from The Office where Pam's watching 9 weeks later, and she thinks it's or is it 9 weeks later? She's watching the zombie movie, and she thinks it's the Sandra Bullock one, and she's like, I kept waiting for Sandra Bullock to come in, and Jim's like, how do you get those two mixed up? Because they didn't have the picture on the box. Oh man. So for those that don't know, John Carter of Mars, Princess of Mars, I can't remember what all the different series names, movies are, is a movie about a Confederate soldier who is transported different ways in the book and in the movie, of course, to Mars. And when he gets to Mars, it's a breathable atmosphere, and because of its difference in size, he is able to jump higher, run faster, he's stronger, and so he begins to be this hero of these people, and is unbeatable in combat. This is a place that relies heavily on hand-to-hand combat, and he is all the edge that he could possibly have. And of course, while he's there, he falls in love with the beautiful Princess of Mars. And so it's the story of him trying to win her hand, to free this planet, to be a hero. That's the movie, the first book, the movie that Disney put out, and then it goes on, and there's all kinds of extra stuff that gets added in. But in the movie that you'll watch, on Mars, there are three main races that are revealed there. There's the Red Men of Mars, which is who the Princess of Mars is a part of. They're just kind of your generic Terran, human-like looking creatures. There are the Green Men of Mars, which have multiple arms, and they look more like your alien race. And then there's the White Men of Mars, who are these bald, pale, technologically advanced puppet master kind of characters that are also part of this story. And so there's this delicate ecosystem of these groups and how these things work. And of course, here comes Johnny on the spot, John Carter comes in and just kind of takes that whole thing and upsets the apple cart in a really fun way. Really fun way. I will say this is not a movie, if you've not seen it, for you to put on at 8:30 at night. Like, it really is, for me, a Sunday afternoon movie. You're hanging out and enjoying it because there are some definite slower parts. But I really enjoyed the story. Really enjoyed the story, so much so that I read the next 5 books in the series just to see what happens. So yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts there, guys, on the synopsis? Anything I missed that you go, man, this is a crucial part they need to know about before we get started talking about it?
Oh, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very
William
nice.
versus Odanga.
Yes. Yep. So, Todd, you and I have read the books just to get a little peek behind the curtain. So in the book and the movie, it ends with him being on Earth. He gets sent back to Earth. He's trying to get back to Mars. And so the second book is him getting back to Mars. But Stephen, he doesn't go to the place that he thought he was. He ends up in this hellish nightmare with these creatures that have got like vacuum fingers that have tiny razor teeth on them that are eating these plants and eating these animals, and then they run away because there are scarier creatures that are coming to eat them, and he's trying to beat them.
No.
And
There goes my happy ending.
listen,
Now I know what happens next.
it's crazy. And so in the book ends, I'm trying to remember, the first book ends because someone has shut off the oxygen generator to Mars, and he has to fix it. And when he fixes it, he doesn't get to see if everyone survived. He gets transported back to Earth as he fixes it. And so he's trying to get back home. But that's how the second book starts. Like I said, a definite tonal shift from this hopeful, fun adventure. And what ends up happening is over the next series of books, more and more races of Mars are revealed, and every one is more wicked and detestable and evil than the next. Like, it's just, he's going deeper and deeper and deeper into this planet of Mars, and he finds the home of the white men of Mars. He finds the black men of Mars, the yellow men of, like, I think it's just gross, evil, detestable stuff, and every race feeds on the one before it. So, red feeds on green, white feeds on red, black feeds on white. I mean, it's awful. And all the while, you're just really wanting John to get back to Thuvia. Just get back to her. Like, how can you do this? And so you read through 5 books just wanting him to be happy. It's
How many books are there total?
Like 30. Like 30. There's a bunch. But like I said, I've read the first. So the first 5 are following John Carter. Maybe the 5th one follows his daughter, follows a daughter of his. 6 is an added in, like this happened somewhere in this timeline. But really, yeah, if you can get through the next 2, you get a good feel for kind of what's going on. I really enjoyed those stories. And so just one thing that I point out here, Todd, Stephen had a chance to look at this. I thought it was interesting that you have the juxtaposition of a Confederate soldier, a Confederate Army soldier, who is on this planet and is now having to unite this race-torn world between all these different races, all these and preying on the others, and who comes to save the day but the Confederate soldier. So what do y'all think about their choice Edgar Rice Burroughs' choice to pull this Confederate soldier to accomplish this mission?
I definitely think there's he's saying a lot of political things, 100%. This is, it is a lot about, there's a lot to be said about race, politics, everybody writes.
Government overreach.
For a reason. Government overreach.
Yeah.
No, this is the same guy that wrote Tarzan, don't forget. A guy who ends up in a foreign land, basically, raised by a foreign, and so... yeah. I definitely think he's trying to say something. And in the movie, they make him look like he doesn't want to fight, right? He doesn't want to be, I'm not a fighter. I don't fight. This isn't what I'm here for. I just want my gold.
Right. And that was in the movie, that was the deal, that he had a gold mine. He was trying to get that gold back to make money on it, and he ended up getting pinned down by Indians in the cave. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't he in battle? Wasn't he in battle in the book? What was the deal in the book?
He and a friend had found a gold vein in the book, and they were escaping the Apaches. And I can't remember how he got transported, but
It was some gas. Like he smelled some gas, passed out, and then woke up in Mars.
yeah, like he
So
died.
the whole like
almost.
device thing
Yeah,
wasn't part of the
no
books?
device.
No device.
Oh,
The
interesting.
device makes a lot more sense than how it happens in the books. In the books, he can't explain it either. He just, like I said, it's like he smelled like methane or whatever, was knocked unconscious by it, and woke up in Mars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Arsum.
Interesting.
Barsoom. Yes. So that was one of the differences. One of the differences. I really enjoyed the movie because I think it held really well to the books. The characters, again, Tars Tarkas. You love that character. By the time you get halfway through the movie, you care about that character. You care about his people. You care about Woola. You want things to work out with John and Thuvia. You care about Thuvia's people. You you actually care about these people, which is more than I can say about some other movies that I've watched. Where you're like,
Tars'
yeah,
daughter, bless her heart.
yeah.
Feel
Oh,
for
yeah.
Skola.
Yep. And they do. I think they do an even better job in the book of really causing you to go. And again, looking at this through the lens of someone who may have been trying to make political statements of the value of people, of other races. You see it. You see it where he's looking at the things that matter and just cutting away all the. I hate to say the word tradition, but the caste that had been built on history, and saying those things don't matter. The value of a human, the value of a person is that they are innately a person. Like that's the value. The value is not in who they were born to. The value is not in where they live. The value is not even in what they can provide. The value is in them as a person. And that resonates with me. That really does. Of watching this and going, oh, I can get behind this guy because that's who he's fighting for. These aren't his people. He's fighting for these people because these people need someone who can fight for them. I love that.
Yeah, I think the symbolism of him being a Confederate soldier and going to unite these races was super cool. To be honest, I saw it when I was, I don't know, college. When did that movie come out? 2011?
Yeah, something like that.
It didn't even cross my mind at the time.
March 2012, I think.
But yeah, just the emotion in that movie, and I'll never forget the scene when he's fighting just the hordes of well, I don't know what that they were just off Tharks, but not quite right
They
in
were
the head. I
a
can't remember.
different clan of Tharks.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that scene where it's cutting back to him burying his family, and the music just swelling, and almost you don't hear anything but the music. That scene is incredible. So yeah, I mean, just the emotion in the movie, and honestly, not to branch off too much, but the visual effects are just hold up so well 12 years later. I mean, people talk about Avatar, and I'm like, dude, John Carter is another one of them. I mean, the Tharks look so good, and just the emotion on their face when Tars Tarkas is trying to hide that Solas' his daughter. Yeah, it's just the emotions in the movie again paired with the score is just stellar for me.
If I'm not mistaken, I think somebody who worked on Avatar worked on this movie. I'm not for sure if it was in special effects or music, but there is an Avatar link to this movie.
Interesting.
And I think it's
That doesn't
helpful
surprise me.
too when you've got computer-generated humanoids where they don't look human. It makes it much easier for that to hold up rather than trying to, with Avatar, they're humanoid, but you can exaggerate features, and I think that helps too.
Yeah, it's not like Tron Legacy where you got Clue looking kind of rough. Even at the time, people were like, "It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
It's not time yet."
Another one that I enjoyed that no one else did, Tron Legacy. That's another one. That's another one.
Dude,
Yep.
it's great.
Fuck it.
Yep. So was there anything you didn't like about the story? Anything you didn't like about the story? Anything that you go, man, I really think I would have changed this? And that can be books, that can be movie, that can be comics. Put some clothes on. There we go. Let's change that. Let's put some clothes on. It's Mars. It's got to get cold at night. Let's put some clothes on.
I don't know. I mean, the story for me was fine. If anything, I don't know. I love the cast. I love Taylor Kitsch. I think he's great. I think maybe he may have played it a little too stiff. But again, I didn't read the book, so maybe that's like perfect for the character. I'm sure it is. But I could have dealt with a little more like charisma, personality from him. But
A Virginia
that's really
Southern gentleman. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see.
Exactly. But no, that's really the only thing that when people hate on it, I'm like, I mean, he's not like, it's not like Chris Pratt hopping around like Mr. Personality. So like maybe I could have dealt with a little bit more personality from him, but no, honestly, overall, I mean, it was just like the perfect pacing. I thought the Therns, right? I thought they were Mark Strong, like super menacing. I loved how he could be anybody. So yeah, I don't think I would really change anything from the movie. It was just like, I just love it.
So the other piece from the second story of the book, they're all bald, but they have these really bad wigs that they wear, and so like they walk around and they got to pull the blonde wig off of them. And I remember that. I remember that feeling very much like what I would see in like a movie my grandmother watched. Like that would be a plot point in a movie she watched, where like it looked like the He-Man wig in my mind. Like I'm reading this book and I'm picturing like the He-Man blonde bob wig, and they're all walking around, and that's what I pictured.
Oh my god! So can they change their appearance, but they can't grow hair? Is that
I don't remember them being able to change their appearance.
Yeah, in the books.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, there's all kinds of mythos in the book that's just kind of crazy, and we'll get into that and the things that I would mysteries I like to see kind of uncovered.
Yeah. But if there was anything else I could change, typically I'm a very like chronological. I like my movies chronologically structured, and the fact that it like started at the end, at the beginning, I typically don't like. And I felt like the ending, it's part of the book. It's kind of like in Return of the King, the hobbits go back and then they have to like fight for the Shire or whatever, and it's like it doesn't really fit in a movie form. This felt like a little bit like that to me. It was kind of like, oh, the movie's over. Oh wait, all this stuff, voiceover, what's happening? And I would typically like dislike that sort of non-chronological structure of a story, but it was fine. For me, I mean, it worked. Again, like it was a little bit lengthy there at the end, but I think it ended on a high note. Now I know where he was headed, and it's ruined for me. But other than that, it was great.
That works. Todd, what about you, man?
I think if I'm not mistaken, they took some of this out of the movie. I think that the princess could have been a stronger princess to me. I think they sort of made her a little less as a strong female. But I mean, they're doing the best they can with what they've got.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Lily Collins isn't a good actress. That's not what I mean. But trying to make this movie to appease to a larger audience.
Right.
I think that's. But that would have been one part, and the fact that he can kill a Thark with one punch, but then when he's on a ship with all these red Martians, he like fights them forever. Like he.
Interesting.
I would have he should have been able to kill them with one punch too.
Just punch the floor and the ship goes down.
Exactly. It's like the Hulk or something, man. So
yeah,
but I think I've watched it maybe 4 or 5 times, and I didn't even think about that till today. I might have been watching it while I was at work.
Yeah. Movie wise, I hear both what you're saying, and I agree with both those things. I think those are both great points. Knowing where the book goes. And spoiler alert, John Carter ends up having a son, and he's a strong individual. And I think he would be a strong individual because his mother's strong. His dad's not in the picture while he's growing up, And so, like, I think you're right that Thuvia is a strong woman, which is why John Carter is attracted to her. That she's not a damsel in distress weakling. Like, he sees that in her and respects that in her. So I can agree with you on that.
She does have flashes of a strong woman.
Right.
I mean, even when they first meet, she takes the sword back from you. Tell me when I'm in trouble.
Yeah. She's like, get behind me or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And so I'm with you on those things. Book wise, and I guess that makes sense. But I was just mentioning like all these races are kind of like evil. There's not really a whole lot of balance there. And I don't know if there's something in that there really isn't good, and it's just how evil are you going to get? I don't know, but that would be just
It's
one
kind of
thing.
like old school story where it's just like back then they could just be like, this entire race is evil, and nowadays we're like, really? Just because they're that race, they're all evil? Whereas back then they were just like, yeah. And now
Of
you're
course,
like,
of course. Look at the Russians. Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I totally get that. It's like, it feels a little weird.
Yeah. So, all right. So, not a whole lot we didn't like. What are some things that we wish they would have like delved more into? Mysteries they would have explained, or we could see, and maybe some of this is in the 20 John Carter books that I didn't read. Just they go into those things. But were there any mysteries, Stephen, in the movie? You're like, man, how does this work? What does this happen? Why is this going on? That you wish they would have delved into?
I feel like for the most part, I was satisfied with how things were presented. If anything, I mean, like, I don't remember it explaining the Therns super well, other than just sort of like basic, like, oh, we control everything, and you're from Earth, okay, gotcha. And it was just kind of like this. They just said it, so you're like, okay, but like maybe they could have gone into more of that, and maybe they would have in the sequels, but yeah, that's really the only like mystery or whatever that I kind of left the movie thinking like I wouldn't mind knowing a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Todd, what about you, man?
I agree 100%. I mean, I don't think they were going to go the direction that it would have been in the books from the way they introduced the Therns to begin with. But, I mean, they're definitely a menace. And like you said, Mark Strong's character is so well done that you're like, I got to know more about him. Why are they doing this? Where do they come from? What is their plan? Are they are they just sucking out the resources of every planet they go to? And I think that's, maybe they would have gone into a next movie. But if anything, I would have liked to see more on that. Same thing.
Yeah. Nowadays, there's a lot more sympathetic villains, so it would have been cool to see, like, why are you guys doing this? Do you feel like you have a good reason? Like Thanos, even though he was horrible, you felt sympathy for him at times. So something, maybe, I don't know, dive deeper into that a little bit, of why they're doing what they're doing.
So in the books, the reason why they're doing that is because someone's doing it to them. And so because somebody's doing it to them, they're going to do it to somebody else. And it's just kind of filters up. Like that's just kind of it. I mentioned some of the mythos. Like they talk about in the beginning of the second book that there's this river that when you are no longer useful to Mars, you ride this river, and that is going to take you to the afterlife. And the afterlife are those creatures that eat you. Like that's the afterlife. These creatures eat you. And so that myth was placed by the Therns. Like that was placed by the white men of Mars to feed their creatures. And also, if you were useful to them, then they would then take you before the creatures could eat you, and they would enslave you. And so, which in the movie it kind of looks that way, where the Therns have set up like we're going to run things to make sure that we have what we need, and it's just kind of messed up there. But for me, things I wish they explained, again, just the history of kind of how they got to where they are. Like, how do all these races survive on this barren planet? So, like, what did it look like before? Is there something that we're not seeing that caused, like wanting to know the why. Wanting to know the why on a lot of those things is a big deal. With their super advanced technology, like, how have they not made it to Earth yet? Like, that's another interesting, like, is that the case? And also in the book, how did he actually transport to Mars? Like, I still don't think that they really explained it well. Like, you smelled a gas, you passed out, you woke up on Mars. Like, that's, at least in the movie, it was some device that you could touch that they were able to use. And I go, oh, okay, well, that at least we've got a MacGuffin that explains that, and MacGuffin is not a weird smell.
And it's interesting. Like, I feel like the easier, more typical thing would be like, oh, you're just transported. But the fact that it's like you're a copy and your body's still on Earth, and he has to like protect it in a tomb or whatever, was really interesting. It was very depressing when he shot back, and you think Bryan Cranston's going to be okay, but then you see a skeleton over there.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, he's going to be okay. He's all right. And then you come back, you're like, oh, he probably died a horrible death of starvation. And
Just shouting like, wake up! Wake up!
Yeah.
Wake up.
You okay?
Backing him
You're gonna be all right.
Oh man. There's just I guess if I really wanted to spend more time, I did get on Audible. They have like the first 20 books, the books of Barsoom, like in one thing, and so I used that to read. I think the last two that were my hardbound leather book that just to read those. Maybe I'll revisit and see if they have some of that stuff explained. Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, let's change gears. Let's do some this or that. So let's put ourselves in the action, put ourselves in the story. So I've got just a couple. Which would you choose and why? And so the first question is, would you rather have John Carter's strength or the White Martian's teleportation abilities from the movie? That's the question. John Carter's strength. I'll also throw in their ability to shapeshift or the shapeshift teleportation of the White Martians.
Me personally, I feel like I would go with John Carter's. As much as like shape-shifting and teleportation like is cool and all, but I feel like those are more for I mean, you could like rob a bank with that, or you could, whereas you have the strength and stuff, you could obviously be a little more helpful. I mean, I guess, both would be helpful, but yeah, I'd probably choose the strength and hopping around. That'd be fun.
Me too, 100%. Then I could whip one of them and get their teleportation device. So there you go.
True.
Yeah.
Look at you just finding the loophole. Yeah.
Got him.
Use the loophole.
So 3 for 3, man. John Carter's strength, definitely there. I'm thinking Superman started with just being able to jump high. Maybe I'll be able to fly eventually if I'm John Carter long enough. That's my end goal. I want to be able to fly. I want to be able to fly.
Dude, the scene where he's like figuring out his weight and it's playing like the almost like ballerina music and stuff.
Yes.
Dude, I was cracking up in theaters. I was like, everyone's loving this, right?
When he saw the princess and she was trying to figure out why he was doing it, and she was using her scientific method, and then she swatted him on the rear end, smacks him on the hiney. He's like, what?
Oh man,
you have the same body density.
Science.
Yeah, it's another good reason. Another good reason. If it's gonna get the Princess of Mars to smack me on the hiney, like let's go. Like that's I choose that. Let's go. So definitely that. Also, just not that I have a whole lot of unbridled rage, but the ability to go ahead and follow through on those moments, like, all right, now I'm taking you all out. And we watch the movie, and who comes out on top in the end? It's John Carter of Mars.
True, dude. When he's slaying all those dudes, he's literally just like swinging his hands back and forth, and it's like 80 dudes flying. It's crazy. I'll take that.
Yes, very nice. All right, second question. I've got two options, but you can choose anybody. I've got Woola or Tars Tarkas by your side. Or any other character. Like, who do you want by your side as you're wandering Mars? Todd, we'll start with you this time.
I would think Tars Tarkas just because he knows a lot and he's very strong, but I would go with Woola, 100%. I mean, it's just it's like a boy and his dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd have to say the same.
He runs so daggone fast.
Yeah, I mean, Tars Tarkas would be maybe more helpful, and he could actually talk and stuff like that. But Woola, again, I just keep going back to scenes. But when he's like trying to escape the area where they are, and Woola's just like zipping right to in front of me, like thinks it's a game. He's like playing like a dog. It's great. It's funny how like Disney movies, especially, like anytime there's a creature, they're like, let's just make it like a dog. And everyone will automatically love it. Like there's watching Ahsoka recently. There's like a mount that one of the characters has, and it's basically a dog. It just looks weird.
So
yeah, Woola for sure, dude. Woola will never leave you.
So I mentioned before the show, we were talking about your new puppy, Todd, and I said I don't really want a dog. But funny enough, when I play video games, I always go for the animal companion. When it's Dungeons and Dragons, I want the animal companion. And I didn't know why until recently. And the reason is because I would be okay with an animal companion if it listened to me and did what I asked it to do. Like that's the deal. I've not seen dogs that behave that way. I think Woola could do it. Like I think there would still be some mischief in there.
With Woola.
Yes.
She like knew what he was thinking and what he needed.
Yes.
And,
yes. I think for that, I think Woola also wins. Although, let's be honest, even if Woola was out of the picture, Darkstalkers would be a fantastic companion. Like
Oh,
I really would be okay with either. It's like 51-49 for me. Like I really would be totally okay with either one of those. But and especially I'm Willem Dafoe, especially if he's got Willem Dafoe's voice. Like, yes, sure, I'm good for that. Yeah, that'd be. Can you tell me a story as I'm going to sleep? Like, just read the phone book for me, and I'm ready to go. Ready to go. But again, Woola edges it out just because it is a neat companion, and I get the draw to enjoying a dog, but I've not found one that listens, and so it's like.
Is Woola a boy or a girl? I guess I don't really know.
No clue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Woola is pretty ugly. That's the only thing.
Is Tarkus hot?
I wasn't comparing. I'm just
I'm just wondering. I'm going. Okay. All right. Not sure where this is going. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna have the more attractive one. Let me go for the green super tall guy.
That's right. Yeah. With the fur.
No, it's just funny because like you love Woola and think it's so cute, but when you actually look at it, it's like that's a terrifying looking beast.
Again, it's like the hot crazy scale, like it's eventually it gets so ugly that it is cute, like it's just all right. Eventually, it's there, it's there.
Yeah, I was watching a video. They were talking about just like there wasn't much merchandising around this movie, and they were like, there was no like Woola stuffed animal, and I was like, and that had me thinking. I was like, would I want a Woola stuffed animal? That'd be kind of weird.
Did you want children to have nightmares?
Wouldn't even have fur.
Yeah,
it would just be like skin.
Or like it could be like a plush egg, and when you open it, it's a baby jet or a baby green man. Like that's what we need. Yeah, that'd be great. Sure. Yeah, it's not terrifying at all. All right. So next question: would you rather live on Mars or 19th century Earth? So there's some benefits and drawbacks here. Benefits and drawbacks.
Yeah. I was struggling with this one. I mean. If Mars was like that and I had John Carter's powers, I'd probably pick Mars.
Okay.
But I don't know. They didn't really explore much of the like cities and stuff in the movie, so I don't really know.
In the books, it felt like kind of romanticized Egypt is really kind of what it felt like in the books.
Mm-hmm.
That there's these large castles, forts. You sleep on a pile of furs. You walk around half naked. Like that's kind of what it felt like. Which are all thumbs up in my book. Yeah, all thumbs up in my book. For me, the not having air conditioning. Like I'm a Florida boy, and the thought of not only sweating, but having to sweat in what they wear in 19th century America, where it is wrist cuffs and leather. Like again, it can be hot on Mars. I'm okay with that, but I'm walking around in my underwear. Like that is definitely a selling point for me. It's definitely
that's a great point.
Dysentery and the bubonic plague. So.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Mars.
We're going to Mars. We're going to Mars, boys. Let's load up.
Diseases they have.
Find me a funny smell, and I'm ready to go. Let's go. All right, last this or that. Actually, not this or that. This is really kind of what would you do? You wake up on Mars. How do you survive? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're John Carter, and you smelled the funny smell, and now you're on Mars. Like, I'm not talking The Martian, Andy Weir, The Martian. How do you survive on Mars? Like, I'm going to die. Like I'm eating poop potatoes is not on my list of things to do. But in John Carter's world, how are you surviving on Mars? Sorry, did poop potatoes get you? Was that a little much?
Great one. Just watched that literally this week.
Me, I feel like it would go pretty much how it went for John Carter. I would like not know what the heck is happening with the gravity. I would stumble upon the eggs, and I don't know. I would just like. I mean, that's. You think about stuff like that all the time. Like, what would I do if I was in the middle of nowhere? Like, that's what. I mean, he didn't even know he was at Mars at first, right? I guess I would just walk and hope I run into somebody. Maybe go towards the sun and hope and pray.
Yeah.
Hop around. I don't know. What do you do?
Naked and afraid on Mars.
There you go.
Water and shelter. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
make an alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he kind of goes by prison rules, doesn't he? Like, all right, find the biggest, baddest guy and just punch him square in the nose, and there we go.
Yeah.
Now we got friends. So that's what we do. Prison rules. Yeah, I don't know. Same kind of thing. I guess you just kind of wander. I think I think once I figured out, I guess he does it in the movie some. He's in the movie some, like, has a lot of fun with this. Like, look how high I can jump. And that's when they notice him. Like, look at he's having a lot of fun over there. Let's go stop
yeah.
that.
Suck.
Yep. that'd be good. That'd be good. That'd be good. Well, guys,
It would be Florida.
I'm sorry?
Your name would be Florida.
Yes,
right.
Florida. Florida. Listen, I'm okay with that. Listen, there we go. I'll take it.
I love it.
Virginia. Oh, I love that movie. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, what other thoughts on John Carter? Anything else, John Carter, guys?
It's just a shame. It's like we said, it's one of those movies that I'm just like, it's on my like list of 5 where I'm like, everyone I meet, I'm like, my name's Steven. Have you seen John Carter? You should watch it. I let my friends borrow my Blu-ray recently, and I fully expected them to come back and be like, you were right. But they came back and they were like, nah, dude. And I'm like, you were on your phone or something. You missed it. It's great.
So you got to hold them hostage. You sit them on the couch and you watch them from the other chair. Like, you missed that part. Look, yeah. No.
Next time. No, it's such a shame. You know, they I think around this time they acquired like Marvel, they acquired Star Wars not too long after that. And you know, you there's a book called I haven't written it. Written it. I didn't write it. I didn't read it either. John Carter and the Gods of Hollywood is a book about sort of what happened there. But yeah, you read articles and stuff, and it's just talking about how literally they just like overthought every single decision. They were like, we want to make sure it's appealing to girls, so we're gonna have like the strong princess, but we want it to be, you know, appealing for young boys too. So we're not gonna call it Princess of Mars. We're gonna call it John Carter of Mars. But maybe they won't like the Mars thing. Let's just call it John Carter. And just like the marketing and everything really just killed this movie, and it's such a shame. And some people think they were just kind of like, they didn't even care about it at that point. Once they had Marvel, they were just like, let's just, you know, release it. No merchandise really, barely any like, you know, cross promotion with like products and stuff. It was just like posters and some commercials every now and then. And the commercials didn't even really represent what the movie was. I had a lot of friends, I remember thinking like, you guys just went in expecting Avatar, where it's like this super serious, you know, like space sci-fi movie, but it's really like, it's a Disney princess movie, dude. And it's Indiana Jones, it's Star Wars. It's just such a fun, good time. That's one of my favorite movies, and I will watch it and spread the word as much as I can till the day I die. That's all I'd say about that.
Yeah, and I thought, what would have been a better name for the movie? I don't even know what would have been.
I know. I don't know either.
But yeah, like you say, John Carter, and like, who's that? I mean, they opened this, and then 2 weeks later, Hunger Games came out. Nobody's going to come back and watch this.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm. And then they removed Mars because, like, moms are from Mars.
Mars needs moms.
Yeah, it was all,
that's right.
all at the same time, and yeah. Mm-hmm. That'd be confusing, us having 2 movies about Mars in the theaters at the same time. Let's not,
It's too much for us dumb viewers, you know. We just can't handle it.
Yeah.
2 Mars movies?
I mean,
isn't it the same movie?
They were like, you want to do this? And he's like, no, George Lucas already stole all of that.
Yeah. Mm.
So,
that's right. Yeah.
Mm.
you know,
It's crazy. Like, this is the story that
created all of
inspired
that.
so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if like some promo marketing could have been, this is the story that started it all.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There wouldn't be Star Wars.
Yeah.
If this book hadn't been written. I mean, so I don't know. I love it, and I'm an apologist for John Carter, and I try to tell people it's, you know, it's one of these movies that people don't like that you should watch.
Yeah.
Because you like it. I mean, and honestly, the Prince of Persia has the same spot in my heart. I like
Yes.
Prince of Persia movie. It feels very similar to this, so yeah, I don't know. I love it. I'd watch it all the time. If it's on, I'll watch it.
Yep. Same. Well, guys, let me give you a chance to share how people can find you on social media if they're wanting to hear more Todd Turner and more Stephen Ridley. Todd, why don't you start off, man? How can they find you?
Well, I'm a Mosaic Fanart, so you can check me out usually Instagram or Facebook. I do have a Twitch where I do live stream mosaicing on occasion. So I have a podcast as well. My daughter and I, it's a father-adult-daughter duo. We dive into all things geek, nerd, and fandom. We're family friendly. It's called Sis and Big Pop's Culture.
One of my favorites.
It's a lot of fun. We do, we have all of those people sponsoring us like CJ does. All those
Yeah.
HBO
Oh, yeah.
Max execs
Oh, yes. Listen,
diving in to listen. So that's me. Just check me out on Instagram, Facebook, kind of stuff.
Yep, I'm stoked. The next episode, your latest episode, is next on my queue. Like once I get done with Nate Land, it's up next.
Turner family movie staples.
Nice.
That we watched over vacation. Yeah,
nice.
So,
I'm in. I'm in. Steve, what about you, man?
Love it. Yeah, so you can catch me on MoViGa Podcast. Look for us on social media at MoViGa Podcast, Instagram and Facebook. Check the link in our bio to find us everywhere we are. We got a Discord. We're twitch.tv/MoViGa. We're doing our weekly podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. where we're talking movies and video games. We talked a little bit about Ahsoka this past week and some other news. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, no website yet. It's in the works, but easiest way to find us is Instagram and check the link in our bio.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and talk John Carr with me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks, CJ.
Well, thank you for spending time with us. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, which I think is Star Wars and Space Westerns with Kate Katawaki of Love Thy Nerd. So you won't want to miss that one. Make sure you tune in for that. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. I will read those comments on this show. So do that so I can give you a little shout out. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Leave us 5 stars. That would be great. And I'll read that on the show as well. We really appreciate both of those things, the interaction we get from you. We love to be able to have that on the show here as well. If you head over to nextgennerd.com, you can also share all of our previous episodes if you want to share those on your social media. If you want to send them to a buddy, drop them in a Discord chat, whatever you want to do, I encourage you to check that out. If you're looking for plenty of other ways to connect with me, you can connect on my Instagram, nextgen_nerd, also on Twitter/X, at nextgen_nerd. You can join us on the LTN Love Thy Nerd Discord, where we're talking about all kinds of stuff. We're getting ready to do some tabletop role playing in the next couple weeks. Would love to hang out and spend some time with you. Links to all this and so much more in the show notes in your podcast app and at the bottom of the YouTube video or at nextgennerd.com. And I think that's it for this episode. Until next time.
Peace out, Seacrest.
Let's see. Keep saying disconnected. Okay. Keep saying disconnected. All right, we may need to switch to Zoom or something if this is not going to work. Because this keeps saying disconnected. So, we'll just go ahead and give me a little bit of audio just so I can see what it looks like when it's done recording.
Okay, test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. John Carter, Taylor Kish, Andrew Stan 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.